The night my husband claimed he was boarding a flight to Dubai, I packed his favorite shirt, kissed him goodbye, and told him to call when he landed. He smiled, promised he would, and walked out as if nothing in our marriage had ever cracked. But 3 hours later, as I tucked our 10-year-old daughter Emily into bed, her smartwatch pinged. It wasn't supposed to. It showed her dad's location just 6 miles away, at a luxury hotel downtown. At first, I thought it was a glitch. Maybe he forgot something. Maybe he'd stopped for coffee. But then the tracker moved, paused in room 214, and stayed there for hours. My hands trembled as I zoomed in. The hotel name glared at me like a cruel truth I wasn't ready for. My chest tightened. My husband, the man who said he was on business abroad, was spending the night in a hotel. With someone else. I didn't even need to guess who. His assistant Lara, the woman who always helped him pack. The one he said was like a sister. I stared at that blinking dot until my tears blurred the screen. Every promise, every word, every late-night call suddenly made sense. My daughter's innocent tracker had just revealed the ugliest truth. And in that moment, I didn't break down. I didn't scream. I just whispered to myself, "You have no idea what kind of storm you've started." Hey everyone. Welcome back to Flame Revenge, the place where betrayal meets karma. And every story reminds you that justice always finds its way home. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe because today's story will break your heart and then heal it with revenge. It's a story about trust, lies, and the one thing that can't hide forever, the truth. So grab your headphones, take a deep breath, and let's dive into this emotional storm titled, "My husband said he was on a business trip abroad, but my daughter's tracker showed. He was at a hotel with his assistant. You're not ready for what happens next." I'm Rachel, a 34-year-old mother, wife, and small business owner. For years, I believed I was living the kind of life people envy. My husband, Daniel, was charming, successful, and always traveling for business. He'd send pictures from airports, late-night texts saying he missed us, and gifts from every trip. To the world, we were the perfect couple, the family who had it all. Our daughter, Emily, is 10. She's smart, curious, and obsessed with technology. For her safety, I installed a tracker on her smartwatch, never imagining it would one day expose the biggest betrayal of my life. Daniel and I had been married for 12 years. We'd built a home, shared dreams, and survived struggles together. I trusted him completely, maybe too completely. But lately something had changed. His calls became shorter, his tone colder. He started guarding his phone like it held national secrets. Still, I brushed it off. I told myself he was stressed. That's what wives do. We find excuses for the people we love. Until that night, when Emily's tracker told me her daddy wasn't thousands of miles away. He was just across town in someone else's arms. The weeks before that night were filled with quiet tension, the kind that creeps in slowly and suffocates everything. Daniel had become distant. He'd leave early for meetings, come home late smelling like expensive perfume I didn't own, and brush off my questions with a tired smile. At family dinners, he was there, but not present. He'd scroll through his phone, typing fast, smiling at messages he never shared. When I asked who it was, he'd say, "Work stuff, Rach. You wouldn't understand." And I believed him, or maybe I just wanted to. Even Emily noticed. "Daddy doesn't laugh anymore," she said one evening, poking her peas with a fork. Her little voice carried a truth I wasn't ready to face. At his office, people whispered about how close he was with Lara, his assistant. She was always by his side, taking calls, joining his trips, even staying late after he left. When I mentioned her once, Daniel chuckled and said, "She's just helping me stay organized, but love has a way of blinding you until the silence becomes too loud." And in that silence, I started feeling something new: doubt. Heavy, aching, undeniable doubt. When I saw the tracker still blinking inside that hotel, my first thought was denial. Maybe Daniel had dropped his phone. Maybe the signal was wrong. But deep down, my heart already knew. I drove there anyway, trembling, numb, praying I was wrong. The hotel lobby smelled of roses and champagne, mocking me with its sweetness. I asked the receptionist if Daniel was checked in, pretending to be his sister. She smiled politely and said, "Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Daniels just ordered dinner to their room. Mrs. Daniels." That word felt like a blade. My knees nearly gave out. I walked out before the tears could betray me. Outside, the cold air hit my face, and everything I'd built for 12 years began to crumble in seconds. I sat in the car, staring at the glowing hotel windows, imagining him laughing with her. The assistant who called me ma'am and sweetheart whenever she visited. The woman who had been in my house, eating at my table, holding my child's toys with fake smiles. Anger boiled inside me, burning through every tear. I wasn't just betrayed, I was humiliated. And in that pain, something inside me shifted from heartbreak to revenge. For 3 days, I didn't say a word. I played the role of the perfect wife, smiling, cooking, pretending. But inside I was planning, not for tears, for truth. When Daniel returned from his so-called business trip, I greeted him at the door with a hug. He smelled of another woman's perfume, the same floral scent I'd noticed before. He handed Emily a stuffed camel, kissed her forehead, and smiled like the world hadn't burned in his absence. I waited until our anniversary dinner, the one I spent hours planning. The table was set with candles, wine, and the tracker app open on my phone, mirrored to the big TV behind him. As he raised his glass and said, "To us," I tapped play. The TV lit up with screenshots, the tracker location, hotel name, and the receipt from room 214 paid with our joint card. He froze. His face drained of color. Emily looked confused. I stayed calm. "To us?" I whispered. "Or to you and Lara?" He stammered, tried to explain, but I wasn't listening. I slid a folder across the table, divorce papers I'd already signed. Then I said, "You wanted freedom, Daniel. Now you have it. But remember, you didn't lose me. You lost your family." He begged, cried, even fell to his knees, but I just smiled, not out of hate, but closure. That night, I didn't cry. I finally slept. Because sometimes, revenge isn't about hurting someone back. It's about letting them watch you walk away stronger, silent, and completely free. The next morning, Daniel moved out. He didn't take much, just a suitcase and his guilt. Lara quit her job 2 weeks later, and from what I heard, their perfect love didn't survive even a month. Karma, I guess, works faster when truth is watching. Emily and I started rebuilding our lives, piece by piece. At first, mornings were quiet, too quiet. But then laughter slowly returned, real laughter, the kind that isn't shadowed by lies. I learned to enjoy my own company again, to find peace in places he never looked. Daniel tried to come back once, standing on our porch with flowers and apologies that meant nothing anymore. I didn't even open the door. I just looked at him through the window, calm, steady, untouchable. For the first time in years, I wasn't afraid of being alone. I realized I'd been lonely long before he left. I just didn't see it. He lost everything because of one lie, and I gained everything because I finally told myself the truth. Looking back now, I don't regret what I did. Maybe some people would call it cruel exposing him that way, ending everything in one night. But when someone betrays your trust so deeply, silence is just another form of surrender. And I had already been silent for far too long. I realized that revenge isn't always fire and fury. Sometimes it's quiet. It's dignity. It's walking away without explaining yourself. Because the greatest punishment for a liar is watching the person they broke keep shining without them. Emily and I still talk about that night sometimes. Not with anger, but as a lesson. She knows now that love should never make you feel small. That loyalty isn't proven by promises, but by actions. If I learned anything, it's this. Heartbreak can destroy you, or it can rebuild you. It's your choice which one it becomes. So, to anyone listening who's ever been lied to, betrayed, or made to feel less than enough, remember, revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting up. So, what would you have done if you were in my place? Would you have confronted him right there in the hotel? Stayed quiet and planned your revenge like I did? Or maybe walked away without looking back? I'd love to know your thoughts, because every story has more than one side, and every act of revenge has its own heartbeat. Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story hit you hard, or reminded you that truth always finds its way out, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Flame Revenge, where every week, real emotions, heartbreaks, and justice come alive through stories just like this one. And remember, sometimes, revenge isn't about anger. It's about closure, courage, and walking away with your head held high. Thank you for watching till the end. This was Flame Revenge, and I'll see you in the next story where lies crumble, hearts heal, and karma always delivers right on time.